Hello, my name is Greg Tulo. I am the Chief Customer Officer here at Viedoc, and today I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to get your data out of Viedoc. So everything in Viedoc is based on your roles and your permissions. So if you do not have access to a role that has the permission of exporting data, you can't export data. If you do have that role and permission, you can only export data from sites that you have access to. So the benefit there is that you can give a study coordinator at a certain site export access, and they'll only be able to access their site's data. So a lot of safety and security built in there. To get to the data export area, just simply click on this icon for the data export tool. This is the graphical user interface, and I'll mention that everything I'm going to show you here is also available through our API, and that's in another video. So, exporting data. First off, I can select all sites, or perhaps I only want to export data from a single site, and I can do so just by applying filters. Typically, I export all of the data and do my subsetting on the back end. You can also export all of your subjects or individual subjects, all events or specific events, or a time period for the data. Today we'll do all events. Then there's forms and items. Perhaps I'm only interested in looking at data that came from a specific CRF or maybe specific fields within that CRF. This tool allows you to do just that. So if I'm interested in just my demographics form, but only certain items on that form, I can make such a call. Today we'll do everything. Next up, types of data. Here you have a lot of permissions where you can say, well, just show me my signed data or unsigned data, items that have been source data verified or that are pending. And then additionally, we can export queries, query history, event dates, the edit status, which means who was the first person to enter data on a form, the last person to enter data in the form. Really, there's a lot you can play around with in this section alone. And then finally, we have the export format. Now, Viedoc allows you to export in Microsoft Excel, CSV, PDF, or CDisk ODM XML. With CDisk ODM XML, you can also tick a box to make this a SAS compliant XML, and you can import that into SAS if that's what you're using for statistics. Similarly, you can do something with the CSV where you can export a SAS script, which will import all of those SAS record or those CSV records into SAS for analysis. Now, something I didn't show are the templates. There's a lot of settings you can have here, and it can become a little bit labor intensive or cumbersome to select all these every time you want to do an export. But you can save a template, and the templates can be public. You can assign it to different users based on their role, or in this case, it's available only to me. So you can see that by selecting this template, a whole bunch of different types of data were selected based on my personal preferences. If everything looks good and I'm ready to download, I can simply click the export data button, and as you saw in the right hand corner, it jumped into the queue and it's now being processed. A useful feature that I like to show off in Viedoc that's a little different from other systems is that we are multi-threaded when it comes to these exports. So the PDF archival format, for example, these can take a long time to process because the system is going to take an image rendering of every single case report form, put it into a nice bookmark PDF, and this includes all of the data, all of the fields as they appear on screen, and also the audit trail. So if I export this data for all 152 subjects in my database, you'll see that it's going to be picked up into the queue and it's going to start processing. Now, this one will take a little while. So what happens if I then realize I also want an Excel export? Well, I can export that data and you'll see it appear in the queue, and then it's immediately going to be picked up and it will process much faster than the PDF. So I don't get stuck behind a large export job if I want something small. Now, while those are processing, I want to point out preview data. This is where you can look at your data without ever clicking that export button. Here you can see simple line listings for every single one of the case report forms or CRFs or domains, however you want to call them, in my database. So if I'm interested in my adverse events, I can simply start typing that, select my adverse events, And here I have all of that data at my fingertips. If I'm interested in, say, any adverse event description that has the word cold, I can quickly subset on that. I can also generate really simple graphics pretty quickly from this screen. So for example, my pie chart, I can go down, find my serious, this is serious adverse event, yes or no, click draw, and I have a graphical representation of my data. Perhaps I want to take it up another notch and stratify this by site. I can do so very quickly. This can either be screenshotted, or I can email or save the chart and pop it into a PowerPoint for a presentation. It's a really useful tool, which again just allows you to get actual insights from your data that much faster. Any of these exports you can simply push down to your local environment by clicking on the download icon. And there it is, really just dependent on my download speed, and I get all of that information available to me. Now, if you want to automate this process, you can do so using our API, but that's in another video. So head on over to that one and check it out. Otherwise, please give us a call and schedule a demo. Take care.